Good morning. How are you doing, viewers? Welcome to God Be the Glory Talk Show. I'm not alone as usual. I'm with Katego. Katego, how are you?
I'm good, and how are you?
I'm fine. Welcome you to God Be the Glory Talk Show. May you please introduce yourself?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say thank you for welcoming me here on the talk show. And my name is Mkata Komtileni, and I'm a music student in Nelson Mandela University, and I'm from Kowanko.
Okay, thank you very much. You have heard him. It's Katekom Teleni. She's a student of music. He is a student of music, he's doing music. That's why today we are going to talk about music. We are going to unpack and get to learn a lot about music. Katego, basically, what is music?
Music is very broad to explain, but in simple terms, music is anything that sounds pleasing to the ear, any sound, any melodies that are planned or put together and they sound pleasing to the ear, they happen to become music.
Okay.
Yes.
So you say that anything that is pleasant to the ear, what if it's not pleasant? Then that's not
Then
music.
that's just noise. There's music and then there's noise.
Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is that even though sometimes I can think that I am singing, but if whatever I'm singing is not pleasant to listen to, then it's not regarded music.
Basically, we can try to say it's music, but then if the person is singing in wrong keys and all of those things, and it's just distorting the sound, if maybe they're using a sound system, or maybe they're just singing, they're just making noise, then they're just making noise and not really making music, because music is meant to be pleasant to a person who's receiving the sound.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. This is something that this is new because I always thought that whatever a sound I hear, I mean, it's called music. So, which means the beauty of music is the goodness that it comes out or it brings out.
Yes, basically.
Okay.
When the melodies are blended together, because music is made of different sounds, and when we meddle them together, they become to be something sound that is pleasing, and you understand what's going on.
Yes.
And when
Yes.
vocals come and sing, they blend in with that. So it's basically layering sounds on top of another sound and making the music more rich and very nice to listen to.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. So, Kateko, when did you develop the love of music?
Firstly, I can say I grew up. My dad always played music, so when I think of it, when I used to listen to music, I came to realize that actually I'm loving what I'm listening to. But at that time, because I was young, I didn't really understand that I'm actually listening to music. So, and then eventually I started to see instruments that were being played and the sounds they were producing, and I was like, wow, so this is music, this is what I've always been listening to all along. And then that's when I was like, okay, I'm actually starting to really like this thing. But then I never thought at the end it would be something that I would love more than a lot of things in life. That would be something that would be dominating in my life. So I started to play music or understand music or develop more love for it 6 years ago, I can say. Yes.
Wow, that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. But you play instruments basically,
Yes,
and you sing. I mean, between playing and singing, I mean those melodies. What best do what is your preference basically?
my preference will be the instruments, the playing part, because that's where I get to express more of myself more than vocally. I get to bring out the melodies and the sounds that are inside of me and unpack them on the instruments, which help to accompany the people who are singing and all of these things. So even at school, I am majoring in piano as my first instrument. So that's basically what I major in, and I prefer that because I would have went to voice. We have that option of, you can say my first instrument is a voice and second will be in piano or anything like that. So I'm more of an instrumentalist than a vocalist.
Okay. Also, so you can take playing instruments as a measure, or you can take vocally as a measure.
Yes, basically.
Wow.
So there are people in school who are actually majoring in voice.
Okay.
So they say this person is a vocalist, they major in voice, they do voice. And then there's a person who deals with instrumentations. They don't have to know how to sing, but then as long as they know how to, the fundamentals of playing instruments and yeah, basically doing the right thing when it comes to playing.
Mm. So there are professional back, backing
vocals,
vocalists.
yes.
So what are those? I mean, they are doing that specifically at school, or you have to know to lead, and you know to be a backing vocalist, and you choose from that which one are you going to do.
Firstly, it comes with your preference. If you want to be a leading vocalist, people have preferences. One can be like, I feel more comfortable when I'm backing someone. But then, if you're a leading vocalist, you have to know how to back someone.
Okay.
Because at some point, you just have to know how to back someone so that you can be able to know how to lead as well. So when you go to school, you just learn how to sing. When you learn how to sing, now you know how to, okay, if a song goes like this, when someone is leading, I have to sing straight like this. So it's not something that you really go to school to learn to be a backing vocalist. It's something that you choose to be, and if you see it's a strength, then yeah.
Okay. So there are departments in music.
Departments, yes.
Wow.
A lot of departments.
This is so beautiful. So what are you saying is that someone can take music as a profession. You grow in music and become a professional somebody.
Yes, you can be a professional. Depending on all the departments, you can be a music director.
Okay.
You can be a vocal coach, just like idols. There are people who do. The people that they audition, they say they're going to theater week, they're going to meet with vocal coaches.
Okay.
So basically, those people are they're full-time vocalists, and they train the people to be able to be ready for theater week. So those people, they've studied music. Some, maybe if they didn't really want them on their CVs to have a qualification of music, they can be like, we've acknowledged your strength and we know you're very talented in this way, then they take you in. But then most of them, everyone who's there, they've studied music. I've had contact with the musicians who play the instruments. So you have to have a qualification to be able to understand the theory of music, because it's not always about practicals. Yes.
Wow. So what you are saying is that parents must not discourage their children if they say that I want to do music, because as we grow up, music we're associated with, it's like a hobby, something, or it's something to play, it's not something serious. So could you say that no, the perception was wrong, basically?
It's very wrong. It's very, very wrong, because we are not here in the world to do the same thing that everyone is doing. I can see that there's a doctor. I can't be a doctor because maybe it's not what I'm called, because a person can come here on earth with one purpose, to be a musician, to be a photographer, to be a model, to do the things that people regard, because people are still living in traditions of, if you want to be successful, you have to be a doctor.
Yeah, that's true.
You have to be a business person, you have to be an accountant, and they don't see that there are people who are actually out there who are even earning more than doctors, who are actually doing something that is regarded as a hobby. Yes, because we don't have the right information, because even people have little information about what music is. And when I went to school, I discovered that it's deeper than I even thought. So parents should not, because they are destroying their children's passion, because a kid is best groomed when they discover their passion, what they love from like at a young age. So they should let them do what they love, because that's where they're going to excel. There are a lot of students who are doing what they don't want, who they always say they want to do this and this, but their parents don't want to, and they are really suffering adversity. They are having suicidal thoughts because they are not doing what they feel like they are doing their best at. They are just doing what they can do, or maybe what they went to do in varsity to please their parents. So they shouldn't really stop them from achieving their dreams, because their dreams are the only things that are going to unlock things for them. Yes.
So to get the clarity of this, what we are saying is that music, basically, it's a calling, like teaching, doctor, accountant, and all those. I mean, it bears that quality, and that that quality like any other profession you can think of.
Basically. Reason why we have good doctors is because they grew up wanting to be doctors. They had love for it. They've always been looking at videos, movies, and researching. So they have a love for it. So it's their calling. They're doing what. So people think it's easy, and that course is very hard, to be honest with you. People who are doing it, even people who love it, they are struggling. So imagine someone who's not called to be a doctor, who can handle to be it, they wouldn't even survive the first semester. Yeah.
So basically, there's a science for music.
Music is basically music. It's science as well.
Wow.
It's a language that not everyone understands. Just like being a doctor, it's a language that they have a language that not everyone understands. But specifically doctors, they understand that language. So even us as musicians, that's why we go to school to learn that language, to be able to interpret it to people who don't understand it. So it's basically like we go there to learn to interpret even things that are inside of us that we don't even really know how to bring them out to people who don't understand much about music.
Wow. I believe that you are learning something. Even you parents, if your children say that I want to be a musician, you're not going to discourage them. Say no, you don't go the music road because it's not something fascinating and all those kind of things. This thing, it carries its quality basically. So encourage them to do what they are born to be. So what you are saying, Katep, if I want to get more of clarity, you are saying that music is not just a passion; it's a calling that someone can follow and you grow and you can become rich out of that.
Very rich. Very, very, very rich. Even Joyous Celebration, it's a good example because it's what we think it's an icon in South Africa because it's coming from here. Those people, the owners of Joyous Celebration, they're doing music. They're not doing anything besides music. They're producing, they're writing songs, they're hiring people. They can't hire people without being able to pay them. So it means they have money to actually hire these people. They went to America, so they organized everything for the team, from uniform, from instrumentations, from transport, and all of these things. They went to TD Jakes' ministry because of music. People there, they don't understand Zulu or Xhosa, but they were singing the songs, meaning that music, it's more than just I'm singing Xhosa, I'm singing Ndebele or anything like that, but it carries a very unique feeling to it, to a point that it connects to anyone who's really just open to receive it. They sang songs there and people were crying and they did not even understand what they were singing. So you can be very, very, very rich, like insanely rich, to a point that you now can do other things to help other people instead of, because you have a lot of money. So basically you can be very, very rich out of music. It's more than just a hobby or anything like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so beautiful. So like any other a gift, as you are playing, I know that technically you have to learn this thing and all those, or scientifically, but naturally it's a gift. This thing, some of the thing just comes out naturally when you are playing. You just know what to do somehow.
Yes, basically it's like that. That's how it started even with me, because I didn't really know the theory, and so I was playing things that I didn't know, the things that were coming out. I was also looking at myself like, am I the person who's doing this? But I understood that this is more than just a hobby or a talent, but it's part of me. I'm expressing myself as much as someone who's writing books and finding that they wrote 5 pages in a day. Like, wow, did I just write this? Because it's coming out of them. It's something you do effortlessly. So you don't really have, sometimes if we don't have to think about the theory. Actually, at this point, I don't even think about theory anymore. I just play because I'm expressing myself, so I'm doing it without thinking too much about it. So it's inside of me, and I'm just bringing it all out.
So psychological, how do music help us or affect us psychologically?
Music has the ability to make you sad, happy. So even people who sometimes were sick, music has helped them to actually be healed without any medications and all of these things, because it comes to your thoughts and all of this affects you emotionally. Even if now, let's say I play something sad, you won't feel happy. So it has that power to actually change the whole atmosphere to be. That's why even when we watch movies, we think that, oh, now I can feel it that someone is about to come and attack this person. It's the music they play, and we somehow forget that they are playing this music, and it becomes realistic in a way that we forget that this music is being used to actually capture your attention, to make you have an anticipation of this is the mood that we're in this scene. So you know what's gonna happen. If it's a sad, just like Nigerian movies, for instance, they have this previous music that they play, and you'll be there sympathizing with the people. Like, oh my word, this person is going through it all. So and then just like for instance a happy birthday melody, if you are about to play that, you'll feel happy and you'll basically so it is a very strong thing that they can do to our emotions and feelings. So
Wow. That's why it is very, very important not to play down or look down on music, because it is true when they say that it is a universal language.
Yes,
basically.
it is a universal language. I was saying that I don't have to understand what she's singing, or even when someone is playing, they're not saying anything. I'm feeling what they're playing. So it's whether you go all around the world, when you play music, when you listen to it, it comes to you as a music. You don't have to understand. You will know that this person is playing this and it's producing this kind of a sound. So yeah, it is a very universal language.
That's why even the Bible says that even when you play skillfully, then which means it brought us back to that point of saying that music is not just sound, but it's something which is harmonious, something which is well balanced, basically.
Yes.
So even God himself, he doesn't want this unconnecting thing. I mean, just playing love. So what they were saying is that even in the church setup, we need to make sure that our music, our instruments are balanced and are harmonious, not just saying that worship is worship, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's the wrong conception people have of as long as the spirit moves. By that time, nothing is connecting, nothing is moving, because firstly, let's say if now we sing, one person singing on an off key, the drummer is playing one thing while tuning, the other one is playing, everything is just a confusion. There's no person in the congregation who's going to feel like, oh my God, this is so beautiful, and feel like, okay, now I'm actually being brought to the presence of God and I'm feeling this. They're just going to feel like it's noise. Just like I said, there's music which is pleasing and there's noise that is unpleasant to the ear. So in the church, we have to make sure that as much as we don't try to be too skillful in a way of that, we focus on, we want to be perfect when it comes to the music and focus on the spiritual side. The physical part or maybe the musical part is very important, because if we play wrong things, nothing is going to go right.
Wow. This is so beautiful. So which means it is very, very important, more especially in our church setups, to make sure that yes, spiritually we are good, we love God, but even musical, we have to make sure that we do it professionally.
Profession is that's what God wants. He said skillfully, not just
Wow.
That's why there are churches, let's say massive churches, they don't take you if maybe, let's say, you don't know how to sing or anything. They rather put you on practice until they can tell you that. And you don't just let anyone come in and they're like, oh, I would like to sing. And you see, we're destroying the order, and we're not really honoring the part of being able, on the music part, to be good, because we're trying to please everyone's feelings. That's one other thing we forget to take care of the musical part, because we are afraid that, if we tell this person they can't sing, it's going to hurt their feelings and all of these things, because we're in the church. So the fact that we try to say we're in the church, we ruin a lot of things, or we take down a lot of the basics foundation that we need to be proper musicians or anything like that. We try to not to be musicians and members of the church and try to take care of people's feelings while we do things wrong.
I know that you are not God, and
exactly.
you cannot read the mind of God, but would you say that maybe even God, feels somehow offended or doesn't receive well the music which you just played, in a disrespectful, it's like it's a disrespect just to go before God off tune and all those. Can you think that even God sometimes doesn't even listen to what we are singing?
if we do it deliberately in a way that we know, or maybe people who know music, or people, God always brings people at some point. You know, it brings people who actually will help you in that specific area, or bring people who maybe studied or even didn't study, or who know music at some point. And if it brings people to you and you don't utilize them in the way, and you stick to, this is our tradition, we've been here for too long, we won't listen to you, who are you? Then he will not listen to you, because he tried, because obviously the angels, they say in heaven the melodies are perfect more than here in earth. So obviously he won't listen to something that is, it's unpleasant obviously to him as well. He'll say, I brought people to you to make things better for you. If he sees that you're trying, he will, I feel like he does receive that, because he doesn't really most of the time go for the music, he goes for the heart, after it. So if we're ignorant, basically the ignorance part, if we're ignorant about it, I don't think he listens to it.
Wow, this is so beautiful. Wow, this is so beautiful. So what you are saying is that it is very, very important as a choir leaders or worship leaders to make sure that we teach like thoroughly our worship teams. Basically, we teach them how to play, we teach them music. I mean, we give enough time to teach, training voices and all those, not just saying that as long as you love God and then just come, it's fine.
We shouldn't just, basically what you just said, we love God, just come, sing anything and all. We have to spend time perfecting the skill, because that's what musicians, even in the Bible, they did. They spend time and time and time perfecting the skills. So for us to have a good worship, we have to train our vocalists, our instrumentalists, so that we have a balance at the church. Because some people who come there, they are not either not saved, and maybe they are musicians. They will listen to the musical part and be like, it's not really, and they are focusing on the spiritual. As long as they are fine on the spiritual and then being ignored, they won't be like, because musicians come to the church and they want to belong somewhere where it's balanced, where they can benefit spiritually and also can contribute or even benefit and the musical part as well. So we have to spend time teaching the vocals and to do the right thing always.
Wow. Because at times you find that maybe you are leading a song and then someone joins the or backs up the song, but instead of connecting well to the song and to the key that you are using, then it's off key and all those, and even yourself you feel disturbed, which means this is how important music is. As much as someone you are disturbed already in the worship team, which means even the congregation is disturbed if someone's just singing.
So it's very important.
It's very, very
That's
important.
where it comes back to the BVs. They have to understand. That's where you have to have a balance as a musician, basically, because the person who goes to sing at the worship team, they might not really be a musician, but they have the duty to actually perfect their skill of being a vocalist, a backing vocalist, because wherever they're going to back up, it means they are the ones who, because it's like us, if we're not playing right things for the person who's singing, it means we're disturbing the person instead. We're always the backing vocalist. The main important person is the person leading. As the musician, the instrumentalist, there's no one leading there. There's no one who has to take away the attention from the person who's leading and what they are saying to them. Maybe let's say you're singing a song, you're starting, you are Alpha, the drummer's like and all of these things. That's musically wrong, because you're there to lift up the person who's singing. We're always behind you. The backing vocalist, a person is backing as if they are leading. Now it sounds like it's a duet, and now it's more than a duet. The person who was leading is now the person backing up, and they've taken over. So it's very important to know what to do or how to do this thing. It all comes back to spending time to, whenever you listen to even songs, you listen to how these people back up, or how is this song being sung, and how does this person prefer. Because some people, when they sing, they go around with their own vocals, because they know that these people, they know how to back me up. I might find someone who's going to be duetting with me there without being called for. So it's more than just trying to sing and all of these things, because the congregation might not be musicians, but they listen to music.
You know, as we are talking now, I get to understand really that music it's really a language, and
Mhm.
it's a sensitive it's a sensitive can I call it, it's not an entertainment per se, but I can, yes, I can call it, but
Mhm.
it's too much sensitive because
Mhm.
really in any place, it can be in a party, it can be in a church, it can
Yes.
be anywhere.
Yeah.
If music is not right, man, something doesn't just get right. Because
Basically, you feel
yeah,
discomfort.
yeah,
Even you feel
yeah,
like, can I just leave this
yeah.
place already?
Wow.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
imagine if the world was quiet without any sound. Even these birds that are chirping right now,
Yeah.
because to them it's music. It might not be the music that we know, but to them it's music. They say birds sing. So imagine if the world was quiet
Wow.
without any sound. So music, it brings life
Yeah.
to the world at
Yeah.
some point. Because if
Yeah.
we were quiet, it means we wouldn't even speak. It would just be quiet.
Wow.
Mm.
Wow. Yo, this is so profound. This is so profound. Now we get to realize that for many years we didn't consider music as something that much important. But now as we are talking, I get to realize this is very, very, very important. So what do you think we can do, more especially in our churches? Because looking now, the people of the world, they do the good music out there, and the people of the church, some of the churches, yes, they are well developed, and then maybe they get to realize how important music is. But some or many churches, they are not yet reached the level whereby they understand. So what do you think it can be done just to improve the situation of music?
In the churches, we have to stop trying to be more spiritual than musical. So we have to also invest in the music part. If we know that we spotted people who love music, but they don't have, sometimes we're just limited by our resources.
Yes.
So if we get someone, maybe let's say we're vocalists at church, we need to invest in someone who knows how to sing, who's going to teach our people. And then even on the instrumental parts, we invest in them. So basically we have to invest, and we have to invest in people who are willingly, and people who are going to make time, who are going to be committed, and we know that they're going to benefit out of this at some point, and they have a heart for that church, because some are just going to use that church to go out of the church and benefit out of it. So we have to have people who are committed to the church, to the vision of the church, and people who are willing to learn, and who are showing that they are committed, they want to learn these things. And I can say, let's try um, not to hurt each other. At some point, we're going to have our own differences, but then if we know that we're doing it out of love, and we don't put too much emotions to this is the church. I grew up in this church. Someone comes in, they want to teach me, and I sing on the wrong thing, and they say, oh, you don't have to do it this way, do it this way, and you feel offended of people here. What do you mean? I know the song is sung in this way. You find that you've been doing the wrong thing for a lot of years, and someone is trying to help you out here. So it's a matter of getting the right equipment in terms of even for the instrumentalists, because they need good. We can have proper musicians, but if we have poor equipment, it will sound like they don't know how to play. It also discourages them. It's going to drive them away. They'll want to go to a place where there are better equipment. So the church must not be afraid to invest in their musical department, into the people, in terms of information, and
Wow.
investment.
Wow. Wow, this is so beautiful. This is so beautiful. So I believe that you are getting to learn, and someone then maybe you wanted to be a musician, and you were saying, hey, people, what is it that people are gonna say if I just go to school just to do music? But today you are encouraged, and then you're getting to understand that music is a serious, serious profession. It's something that you can be proud of, and then it's not less than any other profession. I mean, they are all professions basically, they are just equal, and they're different and beautiful on their own way, in their own way.
Yes.
So what advice can you give, I mean, to that young person there who was so discouraged all these years to say that, okay, you don't have to do music, maybe musicians, for people who drink alcohol and all
Yeah.
those kind of things.
Yeah.
And before we get there, are there any people, most maybe personal with you? I mean, you love music. Do you think someone can love music and good music and grow in music without drinking, smoking, and living all these bad things? Because always when people talk about, I want to be a dancer, I want to be a musician, it's always associated with gallivanting and doing all those kind of like. Is it possible to be a musician, but I mean, well-mannered person at the same time?
Yes, and I'm a proud example of that because I've never drank, I've never smoked, and I don't do parties. I can do gatherings, like proper gatherings, like family, friends, and all this. So it's very possible. Hence, it all comes to being trying not to blend into the world, because the moment you blend into your world, you are losing your own world at some point.
Wow.
You no longer get to be yourself out there. You're moving with the fashions of times and all of these things. So it is very possible to be peculiar and want to be different and say, I don't want to drink. It doesn't benefit you in any way. It just consumes your money and your time and makes you lose your morals at some point. And they all just never benefit you. So basically, you have to look at these things in a way of whatever you're doing in life, or the smallest things that you do, how do these things benefit me at some point? If they don't benefit you, it means they are there to eat towards this, to waste your time only. So it is possible. I don't do all of those things, and I'm happy, and I get to save money, and I even get advices from people who are smoking and drinking, and we're sitting in a place, and the person is like, my friend, don't ever drink. It's very, and I understand that these people, it's like they've introduced something to their bodies. They don't know how to really let it go anymore. They want to, and they feel good when they see someone who's actually doing something different, and that inspires you more to actually keep on going, because there's nothing you're losing out of that.
That's true.
There's nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
You say something, man, when now as we're talking, that it's your own world, which means people must understand, yes, we are living in the world, this wild world thing, but Christianity on itself is its own world. I mean, so, and then you say something that we have to know that even though I'm a musician and all those, but I have to protect my own world. So what advice can you give to this upcoming musician? Because some they think that in order for you to be famous and all those, you need to now to be like them. What advice can you give?
What I would say is, don't lose yourself at first. Before you become a musician, without music, who are you? That's one thing that you have to ask yourself, because sometimes you're gonna find yourself in a state where your music is not needed. You personally have to be. They need the real you. So if you don't know the real you, you are only known out there because of music, and people don't understand your lifestyle and all of these things. Then what you're doing, or you're losing yourself at some point. It's pointless, because music without character is just you're just something that they can use to make money out there, and you're using music to, if it goes away, it means you won't have anything, you won't even know yourself at some point. So never lose yourself, and always protect your heart, because that's where everything comes in. Your heart is the core of your life. That's the core of your world. So you must never lose yourself, and always make sure that you protect your heart, and you're going to meet people who are going to want to use you and utilize you and exploit you, because you are very talented in this way. So don't allow those people. Always associate yourself with people who have made it properly in life and who are well mannered. You have to find those people who are well living out there, and they are doing the same thing that you're doing, but in a proper way. And one most important thing is always acknowledge God in everything that you do, because your talent without God, it won't bring you anything, because it says promotion cometh neither from the east nor west, but from Him, and is the judge. The world may try to make you seem like you've made it in life, but then if God didn't say that, it's only temporary. So you are most likely to fall at any time.
Wow.
So
wow, this is beautiful. God is holy. And then people, what can you say again to people who are singing, I mean, about God? I mean, how should they carry themselves? Because now they're talking about a holy God. How important it is for them to carry themselves well, more especially because they are representing and singing about the Holy One.
I can say that you should sing something that you believe in, not what you think is the right right to speak about.
Wow.
So you
Wow.
can't sing something that you don't really mean. In other genres, yes, you can. If you talk about heartbreaks, you've never been heartbroken.
Yeah.
But then if you talk about God, and God will find that very annoying and
That's true.
very offensive, because you are telling people something that you don't really believe in. It might bless someone if you want it to, maybe the message, it makes sense at some point. But then when it comes to you, it all comes back to you. It may bless the world, but then when it comes to you, you might have to pay a very ultimate price for talking about God firstly, and not really meaning what you're talking about.
Wow.
So you have to be whole in all ways. The people you associate with, the information you bring to yourself, how you handle yourself. Yeah.
Wow. You know, when Kadeko, this interview was so beautiful, and I thank you for having you here with us. Viewers, we really thank the time that we had with you. I believe that you enjoy this, and then you find it so educating. I believe that you have learned a lot. Until we meet next time, love you so much. Keep on subscribing, keep on viewing. We love you. In Jesus' name, be blessed.